Making economical reforms, Ukraine should use experience of Singapore and Liechtenstein, ideas of free market, thinks Barbara Kolm, Austrian Economics Center Director. What it means, free market?
Free market means little government or hardly any government, allow the markets to work without interfering by politicians, by legislators, by politicians. So free market definitely is let the markets do their job.
You went to different countries, looked to their economy, to their structure. What you can tell? Are Europe or other countries ready to get free market, or it should be non-territorially?
Well, I think everybody should be ready to have or embrace a free market solution. After all, this allows individual freedom and the freedom to choose and make the decisions yourself, and of course embrace self-responsibility. So actually everybody is ready and should do that. It's just that governments don't want to allow us.
What it means, us, ideas of free market?
Yes, the ideas of individualism, the ideas of competition, the ideas of little government versus big government, the ideas of allowing businesses to flourish. This is something that should be embraced.
What the main positive aspects of free market for countries, for their economics?
Well, the most positive effects is, of course, that you embrace economic growth, that you become creative and innovative, that people do not depend on government, but they are self-responsible. They can care for themselves. They don't need government to make sure that that schools or roads are built. They do it for themselves.
But no one recipe for all countries. There are some aspects, some national specifics, like in Ukraine.
Of course, there is no size-fits-all politics, and we have seen this perfectly well in the EU. The EU has tried to embrace one-size-fits-all politics. We've seen it does not work. Greece works at a different pace as Germany does. They have different growth rates as Germany or England or France has. You cannot put everything in one basket. So this is why it is very important to look at the individual advantages of the respective country, but also look at the diversities that the individuals themselves have. So this one-size-fits-all does not work.
From what Ukraine should to start to make a free market, if it won't then?
Well, the precondition for a free market to work is, of course, to include the rule of law, to get rid of corruption, to make sure that the protection of property rights is guaranteed. Without that, I don't think capitalism and free market is possible.
But in Ukraine, you think it's on a high level, corruption or other negative things?
Ukraine definitely has a huge level of corruption still, and things need to be solved. Because without doing that, you will not attract foreign investment. And you need foreign investment, of course, as well. You need foreign businesses to come into your country. You need the exchange. You need to be innovative and create by that economic growth and well-being for the individual citizen. Only then, if you get rid of corruption and protect the property rights, you are able to grow.
It's not fair to ask, but what's a negative things of free market, if they are?
Well, I don't see any negative things. The only thing is that obviously some people who believe in big government is that, you know, all of a sudden you're self-responsible. But I think, and especially you as a young gentleman, I think you are responsible, and you will be responsible for your family and for your own future. So it is a good thing to embrace free markets, and those who cannot help themselves, we take care of. But it's not that government takes care of them by law, but it's voluntarily. And trust me, people are good enough to do that.
What specific are the most barrier for the free market. We know that if we're not talking about EU, about Ukraine, there is no some big countries like China, Russia, which are not very interested in free market. And maybe what's the most important for them to see for about free market, and what they have such things which are negative for free market, maybe in USA, in other countries.
Well, we have to divide those things, whether it's a democracy or a benevolent dictatorship. There are definitely two different preconditions. There are countries like Singapore, for example, who have embraced a couple of rules of the free market very well. I mean, they are the most freest economy in the world. They are also the most successful economy in the world. They got rid of all the regulations. They have a tax system that is very advantageous for the individuals and the businesses. So they embrace competitiveness totally, whereas many other countries do not follow this path. However, the level of democracy probably is not as implemented as it would be in some Western European or the United States. However, if we limit government, it is easier for free markets to grow.
If these countries are small, they can easier to get free market for them, yeah?
That's true, but let's look at, for example, Switzerland. Switzerland is a medium-sized country. Switzerland does extremely well. They have direct democracy. People vote with their feet, literally. If a canton does not, or if a politician in a canton does not fulfill the needs of his or her citizen, then they move to another one. They don't want to pay higher taxes. They don't want to have whatever pools built or concert halls they don't need. So the citizens vote directly. It's very direct democracy. Another good example would, of course, another small country is Liechtenstein, where people even get taxes back if they run a surplus. So, but there are many other examples in Europe, also in the world actually, where we see that free market policies have worked to the advantage of the citizens.
Less government, more responsibility, thinks Barbara Kolm, Austrian Economic Center Director. Thank you for watching us. It's Evgeny Bentsov for Dukascopy TV from Kyiv.